completely falls apart, which
Yeah.
he wins and then he falls apart. In Bloodsport, Chong Li blinds JCVD. Then he waits for minutes until JCVD can get himself oriented. And then Chong Li starts running into punches. One of the most trained people in the world. So that's ridiculous. But at least JCVD always gets it handed to him in the beginning. And then he pulls a miracle comeback, shakes the confidence of everybody and wins. JCVD gets hurt. In Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, when they fought Jet Li in the fourth film, they got hurt. John Wick gets hurt. Even Ethan Hunt gets hurt. In Mission Impossible Fallout, Hunt and Cavill almost lost that fight to the guy in the bathroom.
Now, have you seen Nobody yet?
I have not.
Okay, then I won't say anything. But what we're saying right now is the most prevalent in that movie.
And now we're watching. I think it does as much as I love it, right? I mean, we don't get any lettuce, which kind of bums me out, but we get some good rolling. We get some good jujitsu. We get some grappling. We almost get a leg lock. We almost got a leg lock in a final fight, which that's a first for me. In all of my episodes, I've never seen a leg lock.
No.
And then he snaps necks like butter.
In Lethal Weapon, doesn't he
does.
Gibson do a triangle choke leg lock on him?
Yeah, he gets a rear naked choke on him, which was jujitsu, and they actually had some jujitsu practitioners. Also, the stunt coordinator was famous for headbutting people. So you had a really good rear naked choke, and then you also there could be a leg lock in there, but I do remember the rear naked choke because I was watching. I was like, that's jujitsu in the 80s, which made me happy.
Well, he did a triangle choke with his legs on him.
Oh, that's what it was, the triangle choke. Yes, so he used his legs to triangle choke him, and I was like, that's jujitsu. That's real jujitsu.
It's happening right in front of us.
But also, Mr. Joshua handed it to Riggs for a while, or Murtaugh. Oh yeah. Well, Riggs.
Well, because you wanna, as a viewer, you want your hero to be capable, but not a bully.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when it's such a one-sided fight, like we saw with Casey Ryback here, then you're like, okay, well, I'm happy the good guy's winning, but there's not a lot of stake in the game for me right now. Like he's just beating people up right now, and I don't know.
And then I do want to give one caveat. So we did that Equilibrium final fight. And, and that one, I mean, Christian Bale wipes the floor with everybody. And so, but that one's great because you just don't see that coming, right? You know he's going to win, but you don't know that it's going to be a massacre. And that's the joy in that. This one feels more like Ego.
Right. And in Equilibrium, it was like him against 100 guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a different story being told than one-on-one, one-sided fight. To say like this guy is so great that he can take on this army. It's telling you that he's been reserved this whole movie, and then when you get to a one-on-one fight where it's just a bully fight, you're like, well, okay, this is just him being the best. Okay, I guess this guy's just the best. It takes some of the drama out of it, right?
Yeah, and just the 39 seconds of movement, blocking, not hitting with the butcher knife. I mean, you and I are not good baseball players, I'm assuming.
Mark, I was told by someone who I met for the first time 2 years ago when I was on my church softball team. They said, you are a very capable guy and you're very, very good at stuff. Are you pretending to be this bad at baseball? Because you look like you'd be a guy who could play baseball, but you're the worst player I've ever seen. And I was like, no, I'm trying very, very hard.
You know what's crazy? In high school, I could hit home runs with every softball pitch. People were like, oh, Mark's up. But then I got, this is weird. I don't know why I'm telling the story, but then I got up to like 250 and I used to be able to bench 350. Like I was real strong. And then I just lost my swing completely. So I went from, maybe I'm just getting older, but I was in my 20s and I had like early 20s and I had no swing. So you and I, we look like we're just, but if we go to a batting cage,
yes,
95% of our hits are going to be funky.
Yeah, they're going to be
98%, right? But 2% will be humdingers that we didn't intend on.
2% is going to make you feel like I can go back there and do better next time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're so bad at it that when we hit that 2%, that makes our night. It's like me golfing.
There you go. Now we're talking.
And so if I am winging a butcher knife at someone for 45 seconds, there's going to be a scratch, I think.
Yeah.
And call me crazy. You out there listening, if you are knife experts, but here's the thing. This isn't me against Casey Ryback. This is Marcus Penn.
Yeah. It's a trained, like, mercenary.
You know what's crazy? I just got so worked up, my Garmin gave me a relax reminder.
Oh, that's amazing. You know who didn't get worked up? Casey Ryback.
I mean, listen, he has a presence, right? Steven Seagal undeniably has a on-screen presence, and that calm does come across as a nice, let's say, difference to like it contrasts well with
Every other 80s action star.
exactly just that calm out there. I don't know if it so it's nice to see, and he does have a presence. He can hold the screen, but this movie, it's the same exact poster from the first one, except there's a little satellite going up to space, and there's a train in front of him. It's man.
How
just try a little bit.
How much do you think, maybe this is the wrong question to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyways, Mark. I feel like we're there. How much do you think they had to pay him extra to cut off his ponytail?
Well, the first one was a massive success, right?
But the first one's where he cut it off for the first time.
Yeah. I mean,
before that, his ponytail was his signature.
But Under Siege, though, was his step up into, I would say, something a little more. And I don't want to sound hatery, but you have Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice. Those were all hits. Yeah. But I think Under Siege 2 is the prestige. Not the Chris Nolan prestige that Phil loves so much.
Imagine if we did a remake of The Prestige with Steven Seagal as twins.
Whoa. And JCVD as Hugh Jackman cloning himself.
Okay. Mark and I are going to start an Indiegogo account. So if you want to see The Prestige 2, Hard to Kill, let us know if we should start this, because it's going to be up soon. So we want to get it funded.
Here's the thing, though. I just want to. He had a good 4-film run with his ponytail.
Yeah.
You can't rely on the ponytail forever. So I think
true.
I think Under Siege and The Prestige and Tommy Lee Jones, it was time. This was the biggest budget so far. Let's lose the ponytail. Let's go, because chefs can't have ponytails.
No, well, no one in the military can have a ponytail.
Exactly. So then I guess it makes sense that this is his first big picture, and then they had to pay him extra to keep it off in Under Siege 2.
Right. That's where he's like, I just want to talk about the ponytail for a second. Maybe Casey Ryback has been on shore leave for a while, and he's got to go to back, and he's just coming and doing a favor for the boat. How's that sound? Exactly. No, Mr. Seagal, we're going to go no ponytail. Yeah, but I'm Casey Ryback, the uncle now, not to say, like, you know what I mean? I think it would have been a negotiating move. Yeah. Because he grew it back between the two of them.
Yeah, that's true. Because
I think you're right. I think after Under Siege is when Seagal was able to start calling his shots.
Yeah, because that was a blockbuster.
Right.
And then it went. See, I love the trajectory of his career. You had Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege, which is a 5-film run of popular films. But they did On Deadly Ground, Under Siege 2, Executive Decision, which is great, but he dies, The Glimmer Man, and then Fire Down Below. And then he had a little bit of a renaissance when he was in Exit Wounds and Half Past Dead. And then from there, it was basically straight to DVD unless he was in a Machete movie.
Yeah. Yeah. If he was brought back to be like, hey, look, it's Steven Seagal, right?
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting. So once he got to the height of his power, but once he...
See, and it's funny because as a kid, I remember thinking that there was like so many Steven Seagal movies, but I would say at the time of Under Siege, I think Chuck Norris had more movies out.
Oh, hands down, because he was doing all the Cannon movies. He had the Missing in Action. He had much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I remember more Seagal than there actually was, and I think that is a testament to Seagal.
Okay. Growing up, though, how often did you watch Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice? It was basically Under Siege on VHS that everyone watched, our age.
So I would disagree with you.
Whoa.
So my experience was the Sunday night movie on ABC. My dad would tape for me when I went to bed on Sunday night, and I'd come back and watch it Monday morning or Monday after school. And if it was good, I would keep it and like mark it as a keeper. And so Above the Law and Hard to Kill and Marked for Death, not Out for Justice. I didn't get that till later on. But those three were on NBC movie nights, and I had them, and I used to watch them all the time. And because Under Siege came out a little bit later, right? It was 92, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see. So in 92, I would have been 11, so I wouldn't have saw it in the theater because they had a naked scene in it. So that one I didn't see till like later on in high school. So, but Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, I saw the TV edited versions of those a lot as a kid.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, so before we get out of here, I just want to let you know that in my notes, in all caps, I just wrote, "This guy looks like a chump." That's how annoyed I was about this guy. I wanted better. Okay. Top 3 moments. Give me your top 3 moments right now.
Top 3 moments are when cutting up from number 3 up.
Yeah.
From number 3 up, number 3 is when he folds his hands in the beginning, like, as if to say, like, okay, we'll play your game, but understand this is no big deal to me. Like, he telegraphs it like, oh, what an idiot. Okay, we'll play your game. Second moment for me was when he audibly says, "You cut my coat," right? And that reminded me of like Civil War, when it's like, I don't know how many fights you've been in, but there isn't this much talking. And then the number one moment for me is when he looks up and his face is just crimson red, and I'm like, where did all that blood come from? What's been happening here? But it's just, Ryback.
Yeah, it's those are 3 perfect picks. I was gonna say coat. Now I gotta leave that out, but I'm gonna say the attempted leg lock because a leg lock.
Yeah.
I would say the stair fall because some damage got done to both of them, and then the head kick on Casey.
Yeah, the head kick. But see, to me, the head kick bothered me because I was like, oh, Casey, you're so close to a flawless victory. Remember playing Mortal Kombat and you'd get hit once and it would ruin your flawless victory? That's how I felt about that kick. I was like, oh, you're so close to being just flawless.
Yeah. Oh, man. And so that was almost a flawless victory.
Yeah.
Except for the head kick. But I think he did the head kick on purpose. I don't know why. But I feel like everything has a reason for him.
Yeah. Well, I think he lost his knife on purpose so he could say, I'm even better than you without a weapon.
He just slaps it out of his hand, though. Like, that's when I wrote he looks like a chump.
Yeah.
Just boof, slapped. Oh, man.
Also, I want to say, if I came to you, Mark, and said, Mark, I'm going to fight you hand to hand, and then pulled out a knife, am I no longer fighting you hand to hand? Because it's a knife.
Wait, that's a great question. Hand to hand combat definition. Because hand to hand. But yeah, you're using your hand to hand fighting. Okay, hand to hand fighting. Hand to hand combat. How do you fight hand to hand? Hand to hand combat Wikipedia. Okay, so let's see what it says.
It's happening right now. We're just doing it.
Yeah, it's a physical confrontation between 2 or more persons at very short range, grappling distance, or within. Oh, okay. The term is generic and may include the use of melee weapons, knives, sticks, batons, spears, or improvised weapons such as entrenching tools. So it just means we're like hand to hand. So you're just that kind of stuff.
I felt like pulling the knife was a cheap move when he says, "I'll beat you hand to hand." But that's just me.
Like he could have said, "I'm gonna go knife fight him."
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna cut out your heart, Matrix.
With a spoon. So I had that same thought, and that would have been better. So all those placements were set during the scene. That'd be funny if he grabbed a steak knife. They both grabbed steak knives. Whatever happened to hand to hand? Right. Well, now it is hand to hand, technically, according to Wikipedia. Let me look that up.
Right.
You're right.
If 1994 Seagal was like, according to Wikipedia, it's hand to hand, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, he predicted the future.
Absolutely.
All right.
I think Steven Seagal is behind Wikipedia. He writes all the articles.
Well, okay, so Steven Seagal, Wikipedia. If you spell Wikipedia backwards, it spells out Steven Seagal.
Yeah. It's also a palindrome.
Tenet. Someone's like, wait, what?
So someone's writing it down right now. These guys aren't telling me the truth.
This spells out. Hey, thank you for joining me, man. Thank you for being a part of Dark Month here. Thank you for giving me a great final fight with Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. We have not covered Seagal yet on Final Fight, so this was perfect.